Thank you for that, Canny. Hello. I realized after like an hour after I usually started streaming, I fucked up the schedule, and I am so sorry. We had people come over to figure out what was going on with why the solar panels were glitching. We got to figure it out, but I forgot to put. I this is one of the few times I got told about it ahead of time, and I forgot. So that's my bad. But we are starting the second case. And Tyrion Cuthbert, Autonomy of the Arcane. I am curious to see how this will go. I remember, because it's been a minute since I've played it, I remember being disappointed with how the first case ended with all the random politics. So I am curious to see how this will go. If the politics at the end of the first chapter are going to be relevant or not, or if this is going to be like at the end of every chapter sort of thing, which will be an issue if it is. Alright. And we're loading. I'm sorry, Celeste, but there's nowhere left to go. Wait, I think I have something. Celeste's eyes dart around the chessboard, scanning for a way to escape my attack. Oh, they're still playing chess. That's cute. I see her measuring every angle of retreat. Oh, right. I have to use my controller because it doesn't show keyboard settings. But I'd been in this endgame plenty of times before. It was already over. Celeste, just surrender. She didn't respond. Her eyes continued to search for the exact piece she needed to move. There! How about that? I immediately moved my knight to respond. Checkmate. Damn it! She's trying. Can I get a do-over? Professionals don't get do-overs. Would you two keep it down? We're in a library. My mentor's eyes were fixed on the chessboard between Celeste and me, so they went straight to me. We were just taking a break. A pretty short break from the looks of it. Oh, so it's gonna be like that. I suppose it's going to be like that. The Imperial Library was supposed to be one of the largest in Wyverngard. I'd never seen so many books. I honestly felt quite at home here. There was no noise, and everyone kept to themselves. Aside from a few dirty looks from nearly everyone here, I was free to do my research in peace. Something strange had happened during Celeste's trial last week. The final moment with Pierce had awakened something new in me. I used the Eye of Horus in a way I never had before. I wasn't a mage. Miss Timora and I confirmed as much when I failed to attune to a blank spell compendium. Oh, then what the fuck are the eyes? Which meant I couldn't learn arcane magic, but my ability must have been closely related to it. The Imperial Academy was a school for the most talented mages in Wyverngard. The library on campus supposedly held the kingdom's entire knowledge on magic. But with all the books I'd read, I still couldn't find a single mention of anything like the Eye of Horus. There weren't any arcane spells that could affect the mind, and everything I'd read today had just confirmed that. With all its resources, the kingdom has to have seen something like this. Are they hiding that information, even from the nobility? Are you sure you can't tell me what you're looking for? I'd seen a lot when I was traveling outside Wyverngard. Maybe I can help. Celeste had a point, but Miss Timora didn't completely get along with her. I'm sure she'd have objections, and even if she didn't, my mentor had always been wary about letting people know about my Eye of Horus. It was a magical ability that didn't follow the rules of arcane magic. The biggest advantage of the Eye of Horus was that no one ever knew about it. Sorry, I can't. Fine. Aren't you supposed to be researching new spells? Oh, I'm almost finished. Already? You should really challenge yourself more, McCoy. Ugh, whatever, Ruby. Now, why don't you tell me what you're looking for? Hello, who the fuck are you? We must be researching non-arcane magic. Oh my god! We're under attack! We nearly jumped out of our chairs as that girl appeared next to us. I even saw Celeste's hand twitch toward her sword. The girl must have been a student at the academy, but she didn't dress like the aristocrats here. Her expression was kind, but also blank in a way. It was impossible to read. There was something ethereal to her demeanor. It felt like I was speaking with a ghost. How long has she been standing there? I hadn't noticed her at all. She looked oddly familiar, too. I should apologize, but I overheard your conversation. Oh, and he looks pissed. Why? Pissed? Upset? I'm not entirely sure which. What is happening? As she approached our table, another student followed behind her. His eyes darted to each person at the table like a rodent appraising every threat in the room. In contrast to the girl, he was as tightly wound as a violin. The fuck is happening? It looked like even the slightest sign of danger would send him scurrying away. Eris! You really shouldn't! I'm so sorry. If I apologize, they won't have us executed. It's fine, Wallace. Who are you two? Ah, that was incredibly rude of me. Almost everyone calls me Eris Illmatter. So the fuck was that? Oh wait, you look like the weird goddess lady, I think. A mysterious and almost ethereal girl. It's hard to read what she's really thinking. I'm guilty to admit it, but I always feel a sense of dread whenever I'm around her. She seems nice, however. I just need to do a better job of checking my preconceptions. This is Wallace Nightgrave. We're both students here. A student at... You did it, Glitch. Okay, so she's absolutely related to the goddess, or demon, whoever that lady is. A student at the Wyvern Imperial Academy. He's extremely anxious and looks ready to flee at any moment's notice. He's very secretive about the type of magic he studies. That's odd, but okay. That was a private conversation, by the way. Hey, Bonnie, how are you? How have you been? How have you been feeling, honey? And you've been such a good boy, Autumn. Researching unconventional forms of magic is actually a hobby of mine. I might be able to help with your research, Mr. Cuthbert. You did it to yourself. I don't know what you were expecting to happen, bud. And what makes you so sure that that is what we were and what makes you so sure that is what we were researching? Your protege has a bad habit of muttering to himself when he thinks. Dude, what is up with your... It's Glitch again. Yay! Chilling! Chilling's nice. Chilling is a wonderful thing. I love chilling. Usually I'm in bed when I am chilling, because sleep. It's a rare day nowadays for me to feel motivated to do something. I assumed that his research had something to do with magic that was unlike the arcane. I felt a piercing side glance from Miss Timora. I just pretend not to notice. But anyways, I'd really appreciate your help. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Of course. I'd be happy to help. Wait, fine. I suppose it wouldn't hurt. Wait, what? What? Just be more careful, Tyrion. Right. That is not what she was going to say. Miss Secret Goddess Lady? What are you doing? The library was full of books. I had been reading through them all morning. It was a holy text of some sort. It isn't. I do have a Doki Doki in my library that I do plan on playing at some point. But no, do you know what Ace Attorney is? This is like the magical version of that. Though I am thinking she is like the goddess demon hybrid thing that we have been seeing. We saw in a dream during the first case, because she looks the same and she is glitching like she was, like I think she was in the first one. Like, she's the only one that glitches. There's too little information. I know what it is. I know the basis of it. I know it's horror based. I don't know a whole lot about it though, because I heard enough about it to where I wanted to play it myself, but then I never got around to it. I do have it in my library though, I'm pretty sure. I'm terrified for when I do play it. It must have been related to the Church of Bahamut. It's a globe of the world. It's amazing how many other nations there are aside from Wyverngard. I've been to most of these places. You should come with me next time, Tyrion. That was a nice thought. Maybe I could find some time to travel with her. Isn't it illegal, though? There's a table for students to sit at. I'd been here with Celeste all morning. There's a newsletter taped to one of the shelves. Due to several instances of crude misuse, Arcane Construct voice lines can now only be set by Headmaster Redmond. I am curious. Okay. Dude, I am automatically assuming that I am going to be traumatized. So like I am terrified to play it. I might end up playing it this October if I'm able to set like a concrete schedule. But like I am terrified. Are you two students at the Imperial Academy? Okay, so she's Illusion. I'm currently taking classes here for the Illusion program. Illusions? That's kind of magic lets you turn invisible, right? Wait, have you played it? Wait, is there a second Doki Doki? I thought there was only one. Technically, yes, but if you mages ever reach that level, I'm a bit sad to admit that I'm not able to cast that arcane spell. That's still pretty cool. What about you, Wallace? Wallace has a unique field of study. Please don't ask him about it. Okay, I thought so, but you asked and I got confused. Oh, okay. Ooh, I think the original Doki I got for free is the director's one you have to pay for. Rumors about you two have been floating around. Really? Many recognize you from the news articles about Miss McCoy's trial. Ugh, really? The students were surprised to see you two on the academy grounds this morning. That made sense. In some ways, the school was a cornerstone of the nobility's power. This was the last place anyone would expect us to take an interest in, much less be permitted to enter. Luckily, Miss Tamora has had a lot of connections she could pull on. I'm particularly surprised that you're still in Wyverngard, Miss McCoy. I'd figured the Crimson Demon would be off on another violent escapade. Oh gods! The papers found out about that? Crimson Demon? Ooh. I think I'll play the free version first, and then if I'm not like too traumatized by the free version, I might get the director's cut. It's like, is it like the same story, just like different storylines, or is it a different story? Don't ask. Anyways, I'm working as personally mercenary now. Mercenary? I'd prefer the term bodyguard. I'd successfully indicated Pierce in her trial, but that invited a lot of unwanted attention. It wasn't long before I found armed thugs suspiciously looming around my house. Oh, does the director's cut have the free game, which is the base game, and then the 4 other stories? Oh, so they're like DLC stories then, just in like one game. After what happened to Flintheart, Celeste wanted to stay closer to her mother. Steelwind even kept the teleportation circle from the investigation active for her. Miss Timora saw an opportunity to hire her as my bodyguard. I did get along really well with her after all. Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing. Because I got the, bundle, like 3-4 games in one for, Devil May Cry, but I haven't really played it. So it's like a kind of a waste of money. I do plan on streaming it at some point because I have it and I want to watch the anime with eyes of someone who's played the games. Because the animation in the game, in the anime looks really cool, really good, and I am curious on how, because I've seen differing opinions on from people who have played the game. But like, I got the bundle pack for that, and I haven't played it, so I feel like I'd feel bad if I got the director's cut and I never really played it past the first game. That has different scares. Ooh, so like the same game, different scares. That's interesting. I am curious on why they would. Thank you for this stretch. Great. How are you? That's the same with Subnautica 2, though. Because I saw someone on Twitter say that they were going to stop their stream for Subnautica 2 because no matter what she did, she kept getting backseaters in her chat. It was nice to have someone to talk to while I was getting acquainted with being an attorney. It was also nice to have someone who could toss an armed thug with one arm. You should have blood in your veins. We're not going into this conversation again. Unconventional magic. One might wonder why you're researching such a thing. I want to know that too. Oh, she pissed. I'm sorry, but I can't really say. Yeah, go get breakfast. Go eat, bunny. I don't know what that emote is. Armor? Gray. I don't have my glasses on. I don't have them out here with me, so I can't check. What is that? That's my nickname for Autumn. We're both foxes, but in you chugging coffee. Okay. the chat on OBS is really small, so not all of the emotes come in, and I didn't grab my glasses, so I can't put them on to check. No, both me and Autumn are foxes, but in one of our chats, my phone auto-corrected honey to bunny, and now we're just we just call each other bunny now. It's adorable. I mean, technically I don't need glasses when I'm reading, but tiny pictures don't really help. Like, I've gotten to the point where I really only have them as reading glasses, and I wear them as a familiarity thing more than anything, because I don't really need them. I need them to drive, but I could probably take the test again and no longer need them to drive, because honestly, wearing them at night when I'm driving to and from to work, wearing them at night actually hinders my ability to drive. But I can't take them off because that is illegal. But I don't want to retake the test. I just want to renew my license and for it to be done and over with. I don't want to take the test again. There are many spells in this world, and new ones are always being developed. What makes you so certain this magic isn't arcane? The magic I'm looking into doesn't follow the conventions of arcane magic. Oh? How so? Well, I needed to tread carefully. Miss Moore's glare agreed. It was cast by someone who's not a mage. Oh, really? That implies that it was cast by a person, and it wasn't something like artificery. I flashed an apologetic look to my mentor. That does remind me of a story. A story? Mr. Cuthbert, are you familiar with the legends about how Wyvern Guard was created? You mean the story about the ancient dragons? Dragons? I knew you'd find it interesting. Is that something that you have been forced on yourself or that your community decided? Are you talking about the stories told by the Church of Bahamut? Both. Well, I wish you luck. I have a stuffy planned out if I ever do want to decide to do merch. And then I have a little fox that I could probably make into merch if I pay an extra fee toward the artist, because I didn't get it initially for that. No, but like I have things in mind if I decide to. And both them great designing and merch making one. So it went with the hardest one for you to figure out. I love that for you. I wish you luck. If you do end up with like a plushie or something, I will buy it. Nice. Again, if there's a plushie involved, I will buy it. I've already bought a plushie of another artist who made a plushie of his OC because he made a game based around his OC. Very dark, very heavy like dark themed kinks were involved. So I can't stream it on Twitch. I probably could. They can stream it on YouTube. They just don't have the category. But he made he's having a plushie made, and I immediately But you should be able to. I've had people who I don't follow message me on Twitch. That is upsetting, though. I wish there was a plushie. A little gray plushie. That'd be adorable. Like, I also have a few plushies. I know you did. That doesn't mean that you can't make a plushie. That sounds like quitter talk. But no, I also have a few plushies from a visual novel that I have that I love. It'd be a visual novel. It's a cute one that I might, if I hadn't already played through all of the endings, I would absolutely play it on stream. It's so fucking cute. The main boy and the only one that you can date in the base game. I did get DLC for other characters, but I haven't actually played the DLC yet. But I want to play the main game first, obviously. But the main boy, his name is Cove, and we grow up with him. And you can have your own gender identity. You can change how things look. Like you can change how, like if you want to be trans, you can be trans because they have that option of how you see yourself. Like it's such a cute game, and I love it. Cove is adorable. follow someone who, and they don't really cosplay him anymore, but they cosplayed Cove, and I was so happy because not everyone hardly anyone really knows the game, and I was obsessed with Cove for like the longest time. Are you not my friend on Discord? Wait, what? Since when the fuck when? I thought we were. I am so confused. That's cute. I like that. Dude, I get it though. I get it. I am awful with socializing, and then something happened with an ex-friend of mine that made me even worse at it because now I'm just like terrified to open up to people. I was terrified before, and now I'm just like extra terrified now. So it's like, I get it. Socializing is hard. Technically, there's only ever mention of one ancient dragon, Rathalion, the Scaled Lord. Supposedly, the first mages were created centuries ago by him. What? I never knew that. Oh, well, now we're getting background on the Scaled Lord. I thought it was Bahamut. Okay, never mind. In the year 10 BCB, Wyverngard was a small kingdom caught between two warring nations, Ixia to the east and Lumina to the west. With no way to protect themselves, this kingdom was on the brink of destruction. Its people prayed to Bahamut, the god of dragons, for salvation. And almost as if to answer their prayers, Rathalion, the last of the ancient dragons, appeared before them. He took pity on their plight and granted them the gift of magic. It was a weapon our greatest warriors wielded without equal. With arcane magic in hand, these warriors laid devastation upon our enemies. They didn't just stop the war, they joined the battle and single-handedly won it, taking large swaths of territory for themselves. With our nation protected and our power made known, these warriors went on to form the noble houses of today. Wait, I thought Wyverngard was founded by mages, though. I'm confused. I see it now. It's awful. A whole coffee pot. Oh, that's awful. Like, I thought they said that the kingdom that Wyvern was founded by like 4 archmages. I know there are 4 great houses, but this is saying that Wyverngard was already a nation before magic became a thing. What? What a load of nonsense. That story is nothing but religious propaganda created to prop up the noble houses. But regardless, the significance of this legend is the Scaled Lord himself. Rathalion? He bestowed the power to become a mage on several individuals. And to this day, that power can only be passed through bloodlines. Can you think of an arcane spell that can reproduce something like that? No, I suppose not. Rathalion had powers that weren't bound by the conventions of the arcane arts. In other words, he could use magic that was distinct from the magic today. Please, do you honestly expect us to believe a story like that? It's completely unrealistic. As unrealistic as a non-mage using magic? She had a point. It was the closest thing I had to a lead right now. Of course it's you lot making all of this noise. Oh, hello. One of the instructors of the academy approached us disdainfully. She looked like a woman of the aristocracy. Every bit of her demeanor carried that, from the stiffness of her posture to the condescending grimace on her face. She glared at each of us like we were the most disgusting things she'd ever seen in her life. Professor Bellwether! Professor Catherine Bellwether. She is a professor. She is 34. I honestly thought she was a little older than that. My bad. Being a noble doesn't help you age gracefully, I guess. A professor who teaches magic at Wyverngard's Imperial Academy. She's quite abrasive to just about everyone. She seems to have a particular disdain for commoners. That is Professor Bellwether to you. But he just called you... I'm letting you know you rabble into... I knew you rabble into our walls would lead to nothing but trouble. You even started associating with our malcontents. Wallace? Yes? How am I supposed to understand you when you're stuttering? Yes, Professor Bellwether. Straighten out your uniform and fix that awful hair. I know it's unreasonable to expect anything more from you, but try not to look like such a street urchin. Wallace shrank away from the professor. He reacted like a scared and beaten animal. God, fuck this bitch! I could see Celeste's fist start to clench. She looked like she was about to toss the professor across the room. Oh, let's not do that. I flashed her a look. Any trouble we cause would just make things worse for Eris and Wallace. As for the rest of you, your rowdy behavior is disrupting the other students. Leave. Now. Oh, please. The headmaster gave us express permission to be here. That may be, but the school board has placed the Imperial Library under my jurisdiction. I can remove anyone who disrupts the studies of our prize students. Oh, she's also an illusion mage. Why would you have authority over the library? My apologies, Professor. We'll try to keep our volume lower. I don't believe I was talking to you, boy. Know your place. Oh, Tyrion, please tell me you feel threatened so I can defend you. I wanted to avoid a confrontation, but a part of me really wanted to see that. If you refuse to leave, I have no choice but to remove you myself. I'll have you know that I'm the most accomplished mage of this academy. Celeste! Trust me, you'll find spellcasting difficult when something's hitting you in the face. Come at me, bitch. I'll wear you like a sweater. My god! I definitely got hints of Flintheart in her thoughts every so often. I don't have to stand for this. The girl is like a rabid dog. It'd be best to keep my distance. I was just on my way to speak with the headmaster. He will be hearing of this. Oh, you're going to tell on us? I'm so scared. Celeste, you're a little scary. Aw, thank you. Anyways, Wallace, you finished this week's assignment, haven't you? Would you mind entertaining Celeste while I aid Mr. Cuthbert? I don't know. Now that you mention it, I could really use some help learning a new spell formula. You know your way around here, right, Wallace? Okay. I'll be discreet, Miss Timora. Please do. I still have some business to take care of here. I'll leave you to it. She was about to leave, but she stared at Eris warily. Is something wrong, Ruby? No, not at all. God, I am so scared. I spent the next few hours searching through the library's books with Eris. I hadn't thought to look into the ancient dragons. The library had religious texts about them in abundance. There was one problem, though. These texts read more like myths than real historical documents. It can't be helped. The Church of Bahamut has far too much influence in Wyverngard. To them, history is a narrative to be embellished rather than something to be preserved. The bones of dragons are displayed in Wyvern museums. Without those, most would have no evidence that they even existed. Except for Rathalion, possibly. Oh, according to these legends, dragons can't die of old age. Presumably, he'd still be alive. I wouldn't be surprised. Despite everything, the kingdom includes him in our constitution. Wait, really? As the savior of our kingdom, he and his kin were given an honorary position in our kingdom. The Scaled Lord made Wyverngard what it is today. He was given authority that befits such a legacy. How have I never heard of this before? I've memorized all of Wyverngard's laws. Practically speaking, it's never been invoked. It's merely a law spun of reverent words to praise the Scaled Lord and appease the church. I was so stuck in my own thoughts that I accidentally walked face first into a bookshelf. I have done that before. It hurts like a bitch. The shelf slowly begins to tip, and I had to catch it before it knocked over the other shelves like a set of dominoes. I haven't done that before. I've only seen that in anime. Several books fell out of it as I slowly set the shelf back in place. They hit the ground with a cacophony of thuds. Some students glanced over at me, annoyed by the noise. I really hope Bellwether wasn't still around to see that. Be quiet! I wasn't sure where the voice was coming from, but it sounded annoyed. Sorry! Be quiet! Eris giggled to herself as she watched me flounder around. Hey, are you okay? We heard a loud noise and... Oh. The two of them scanned over the pile of fallen books around me. What did you do? That's not important. Can you help me clean this up? There's no need for that. Wallace, can you call over the construct? Why do you always make me do it? Please? Construct, I require assistance. Acknowledged! What is that? Upon Wallace's command, one of the nearby suits of armor suddenly sprang to life and marched toward us. The voice coming from it sounded like a woman's, but it lacked any emotion. I could have sworn I'd heard its voice before. Oh, I thought those things were just decorative. It's an arcane construct. It's a suit of armor brought to life using artificery. They're designed to carry out various tasks on campus. Arcane constructs. I don't like that that's evidence. Why is that evidence? Arcane constructs are suits of armor that are animated using artificery. They can carry out simple tasks when ordered to. The ones in the Imperial Library speak with the voice of Catherine Bellwether. These voice lines can only be changed or adjusted by the Academy headmaster. Every command given to a construct is stored in its command log. However, this command log must be cleared regularly. Really? I didn't know artificery had come that far. They're still experimental. They aren't available to the public yet. House Von Sanctus is using the Academy as a testing ground for them. Construct, can you please put these books back where they belong? Acknowledged. You're so polite to them. You know they're just machines, don't you? They're really helpful. It feels wrong to be rude to them. The construct jumped straight into its task, its metallic hands moving with a quick yet delicate precision. It wasn't long before all the books were back exactly where they belonged. Wow! So they do whatever you tell them to do? There are some limits to... Construct, tell me I'm the fairest maiden you've ever seen. Command rejected. Aww, what? I guess they're not able to lie. Watch it, Cuthbert. The construct's voice is an amalgam of pre-recorded phrases. I'm not sure if you noticed, but it uses the voice of Professor Bellwether. Ugh, I knew there was something wrong with it. Unfortunately, you can't make them say anything other than basic responses. Only the headmaster can change those settings. I've heard of artificery recording audio, but to think they could process and respond to what I'm saying. I've never seen anything like it. But you just said they're experimental, right? maybe I can find a way to trick it into doing what I want. I'd advise against that. Oh, we've had several instances of students using them to play pranks. Even if your commands are rejected, they're still stored in the construct's logs. And weren't you researching spells with Wallace? Oh, that? I'm already done. I've been reading Death at Daggerfall. Did you know that they had the unpublished manuscript of the newest book? Those books were apparently her favorite series of murder mysteries. She'd been recommending them to me for the entire week. And by recommending, I meant she'd been leaving those books around my house. I think at one point, she'd somehow snuck them into Miss Timora's office. I really got an earful from my mentor about that one. There's no possible way you're already done learning about those new spells. We've only been here a few hours. Yeah? You want to bet? Sure. Show me your spell compendium. What? No! I can't tell him yet. I want it to be a surprise. I didn't catch any lies with the Eye of Horus. Was she really telling the truth? I never actually knew the process for learning new spells. I just knew that they involved becoming familiar with unique spell formulas. She was fidgeting a lot when we were reading it together this morning. She basically forced me into taking a break to play chess with her. If you were in the fiction section, did you get a chance to read Wraithbound? This again? It's a great series, Celeste. The best series I've ever read. Even after nearly a century, those books have aged like fine wine. Look, Tyrion, I'm sorry, but I just can't get into it. The whole thing just feels so hammy and unrealistic. Come on, it's a classic story of good versus evil. Corin Bloomvale is a literary genius. Maybe I needed to start leaving my copies of Wraithbound in the Koi Tavern. Look, I'm just not into the fantasy genre. Good, those books are terrible anyways. No, Tyrion! What? I just get back to work. Scaled Lord, did I say that out loud? Well, let's go, Celeste. Okay. Let's keep going, Eris. I had no intentions of letting Celeste get ahead of me. I read more and more about the ancient dragons. I looked at anything I could get my hands on, historical accounts, religious texts, even folk tales. But after finding the 12th embellished story about a dragon fighting a knight, I was starting to lose hope. This most recent story was the worst. I'd read like fantasy novels I usually read, but even I had a limit. At this point, I felt like one of those arcane constructs, hollowly reading out the words of yet another myth to myself. The dragon awoke with a rumble, hot steam pouring from its mouth. The knight responded in kind, drawing his steel and charging forward. But the dragon had his own weapon. He used his Eye of Bahamut to... My dull rhythmic dictation broke when I read that line. I straightened out of my chair and inspected each subsequent line carefully. He used his Eye of Bahamut to call upon the power of radiance to pierce through the knight's soul. Not a single thought was concealed from his gaze. Ooh. Okay, so if it's the Eye of Bahamut instead, why is it called Horus now? Because, okay, so apparently neither Tymora or Tyrion know anything about the Eye of Horus. They just know that he has it. And from what we have learned in this chapter, it's not arcane art, because it can't go into a compendium, which all mages need to store the spells that they know. We also heard in the first chapter that Tyrion's mom was a fortune teller, so she might have had this magic as well, but I'm not sure yet. But if this is the Eye of Bahamut instead of the Eye of Horus, why did it get changed because of something that happened? And like, okay. One, is Tyrion from a banished noble family? Because nobles are the only ones with magic, and magic is passed down through the bloodline. And that it makes me wonder if his mother also had had the eyes of Horus or Bahamut or whatever. And from the little flashbacks that we have, was she arrested and then found guilty of using magic against someone, and that led to her execution? Was she also a mage? But he was a commoner and had always believed he was a commoner, so she wouldn't have had magic unless she didn't register as a mage. But if that's the case, because he can't use any other arcane arts, so I'm rambling, I am confused, I'm going to keep going. Not a single thought was concealed from his gaze. The nice thoughts, even his emotions, were laid bare before the scaled giant. The description sounded eerily familiar. I named my ability Eye of Horus when I was a child. At the time, I was just copying one of my childhood friends. But I was actually using this Eye of Bahamut? Okay, that answers one question. The Eye of Horus was just a child's ramblings. But he got very close because he got the Eye of correct. Honestly, Eye of Horus fits better. You're just saying that because you've been using that name since you were a child. The Eye of Bahamut. I jumped up in my seat again. How does she always sneak up on me like that? Do you know about this Eye of Bahamut? This is the first I've ever seen it mentioned. Legends say that the Eye of Bahamut holds the power to mimic the radiance of the celestial gods. The celestial gods? Are they anything like the Scaled Lord? Hey, Gilded, how are you? A 10 stream streak. Nice. Welcome in, how have you been? Not quite. And I doubt you'd find anything about them here. The Eye of Bahamut mimics the radiance of the gods. Does that mean the dragon in this story is mimicking magic related to these celestials? Unfortunately, knowledge of them is quite scarce in Wyverngard. Even mentioning the celestials could very well tie a noose around your neck. It's forbidden to possess any texts that even whisper their names. Ugh. The kingdom must have been suppressing knowledge of religions other than the Scaled Lord. No wonder I couldn't find any information here. Was this whole mourning a colossal waste of time? No, this was still a lead. If I couldn't read about the celestial gods here, I'd just have to look somewhere else. Miss Timora had a lot of connections. I'm not sure if she'd condone the risk of buying illegal books, though. Suddenly, a low-pitched thrum thundered across the room. It was unnaturally loud. It must have been produced by some sort of magic. What? Ugh, what is that? Were you messing around with the arcane constructs? What? No! I mean, only a little. I didn't expect that to trip anything. It finally stopped. Eris, wasn't that the lockdown? Yes, I believe so. Lockdown? I'm here. Depression doesn't fade after a day, unfortunately. So I am alive. I am here. I'm glad you've been doing okay, though. Lockdown? The academy is outfitted with a large why am I having such a hard time saying it now? A large artificary system. Blech. In a state of emergency, it'll erect magical barriers throughout the building. State of emergency? Should we be worried? Don't worry. The lockdown is designed to keep everyone sequestered. We're safe from most threats as long as those barriers stay up. But, Miss Timora, wasn't she still on campus? I'm terribly sorry. A disembodied voice caught through the anxious murmurs of the students in the library. Students and faculty, please remain calm. There's been an attack in one of the lecture halls. What? Please stay where you are and wait for the city watch to arrive. We have to get out of here. What? Tyrion, no, that's the last thing we should do. I ran towards the library entrance. My body crashed into the door. It didn't budge at all. I desperately pushed and pulled at the handle, trying to wrench the door open. Tyrion, stop that. But, Miss Timora! I know that you're worried about her, but it's not safe out there. Look, the best thing we can do right now is stay here and wait until the lockdown is over. I knew she was right, but I couldn't just stand here and do nothing. I began kicking the door handle, but my foot was repelled by the low hum of magical energy. It didn't move at all. Yeah, because a non-mage can absolutely break down a door that is currently being secured with magic. Way to go, Tyrion. I thought you were smart. Celeste's hand rested on the hilt of her sword. Her eyes slowly scanned our surroundings. The other students watched her fearfully. No one dared to come near us. Celeste, I think you can calm down. They said the attack was in the lecture halls. She answered him without breaking her glare. We don't know what's happening, and it's my job to keep Tyrion safe. She also calmed me down earlier. It was easy to forget sometimes, but she was really vigilant when it counted. What? Students and faculty, thank you for your patience. The Knights have secured the building. The lockdown has been lifted. However, please remain in the building until he was barely finished with his announcement before I was out the door. Tyrion! Hey! Don't go off on your own! I desperately ran through the academy hallways. No. Miss Timora? Miss Timora, where are you? I was running blindly. My breath was haggard. My heart was racing. Dread was creeping inside of me with each passing moment. I didn't even know where I was going. Cuthbert? What's wrong? Why are you shouting? Miss Timora! Are you okay? Your breathing... Relief washed away my anxiety. I just embraced my mentor tightly. She had always demanded I keep a professional distance from her, but despite myself, I was just relieved that she was safe. Tyrion! There you are! And... you're crying? Cuthbert, you're hurting me. Sorry. I let go of her and tried to stifle my tears. We heard the announcement. Are you okay, Ruby? I am, but... Miss Timora glanced at Wallace. She slowly put herself between us. For now, I think we should head to the foyer. It's a foyer? I guess it is a fancy, smancy, noble school. We arrived at the foyer. The academy was swarmed with a legion of familiar knights. The Inquisition? Don't tell me. They mentioned that there was an attack on campus. They must have used magic. Hey, you there! As we came into the foyer, the commander marched towards us, but his attention was focused on Celeste this time. Huh? Wallace Nightgrave, by the authority of the Wyvern Guard Crown, I'm placing you under arrest. Why him? Before Wallace could react, Orm grabbed him by the wrist and began dragging him away. No, I don't think so. Hey, what are you doing? You three. The hell are you doing here? You said he was under arrest. On what charges? The charge of first-degree murder. This damned mage killed Catherine Bellwether. But he was with us. It couldn't have been him. What? Celeste grabbed the commander's arm and wrenched him off of Wallace. Orm showed no resistance, clearly remembering what happened during her arrest last week. He's traumatized. Like hell you're arresting him. He was with us in the library the entire morning. There's no way he could have murdered her. Step aside, Celeste. But! No, Miss Timora is right. If Wallace is a suspect, we can't legally stop the Inquisition from arresting him. It'd be best if you go with them, Wallace. I'm sure we can get this all of this sorted out. I could only watch as the Inquisition dragged him away. My apologies. I'm going to accompany him. I can't believe this. They arrested him, even though he was in a different room. This school is filled with plenty of mages. There has to be a longer list of suspects. What do we do now? Let's head to the lecture halls. That's where the murder must have taken place. Cuthbert. Yes? He hasn't accepted you as his attorney. You don't even know if you'll be working in this case. but I know that he's innocent. She looked like she was about to reprimand me, but she just let out a defeated sigh. Just remember that being an attorney is your job. Our law firm isn't a charity. If you overextend yourself, I'm not going to pay your rent for you. Right. I have another appointment in the city. Can you two take it from here? Yes, of course. Alright, let's go, Celeste. Oh, I've been waiting for our first case. Celeste, Wallace was just arrested. Be respectful. Right. Sorry. I was reluctant to admit that I was just as excited as she was. And we are saving. I am curious why they think it's Wallace. We don't know what kind of magic Wallace has yet. Because he is, like, he was so cagey about admitting to it. But unless there is a magic that lets him be in two places at once, which, now that I'm thinking about it, might be possible, but we're not sure. But he's terrified of Bellwether, so I don't think he would, like, actively, like, murder her when he was, like, that fidgety over other people, let alone her. I am curious to hear why they arrested Wallace. A few hours had passed since Wallace was arrested. Celeste and I were with him during the lockdown, so the Inquisition took our statements. But the more they questioned me, the more I could tell they were looking for gaps in my testimony. We would need to do more if we wanted to establish an alibi for Wallace. They definitely know how to waste a lot of time. They know who we are now. We'll have to expect more interference from them in the future. Hey, Tyrion? Yeah? Are you okay? I'm sorry for stopping you before. I know you were just worried about Ruby. No, you were completely right. I was just being emotional. You really care about her, don't you? She's done a lot for me. If it weren't for her, I would have grown up on the streets. Oh, really? It's just... What is it? Don't you think the way she treats you is a bit cold sometimes? It's only for my benefit. I need to be the best attorney I can be if I want to acquit my clients. Still, she's your guardian, isn't she? She could be nicer to you. She's never been good at expressing emotions. I think something may have happened in the past, but I've never tried to pry. But I know for a fact that she cares for me. I've seen it many times. Yeah, I guess my dad was the same way. I guess people show love in different ways. I know you didn't get the best for suppression ever, but I hope you can get along with her. I'll try, but only because I really like this job. Really? Yeah! You're the best client I've ever had, Tyrion. I see. That's good to hear. She was probably just saying that. I'm sure she told every one of her clients the same thing. Anyways, we should get to work. Right. Ruby said that a bunch of knights were heading to Lecture Hall 2B. That sounds like a good place to start. Hey, Namira, how are you? Did you get enough sleep yesterday? Okay, so you are the one that I'm going to instead of Ruby for my hints. So, I'm guessing the classroom then? Hey, stop right there. As we tried to enter the classroom, one of the Inquisition Knights stepped between us and the door. He tried to make himself look bigger, but I could see him falter when he recognized Celeste. She has traumatized all of these knights. I'm a defense attorney. We have a right to investigate the crime scene. Yeah, from what I've heard, the kid doesn't have an attorney yet. Right. I still need to talk to Wallace about that. I doubted Wallace had another attorney in mind, but I would have less jurisdiction until he made it official. It's quite alright. Let them in. Lady Steelwind! What have I told you about calling me that? While you work under me, you will address me as Prosecutor Steelwind. Yes, Prosecutor Steelwind. Ugh, what's that smell? As we entered the classroom, a sour and rancid odor blew over us. My eyes began to tear up. I had to take a handkerchief from my pocket to cover my nose. Don't worry. You eventually get used to it. What are you even doing here, Steelwind? I'm here to coordinate the investigation. I looked around the room. There wasn't a single Inquisition knight to be found. It was only her. Was she investigating the crime scene by herself? I mean, oversleeping isn't exactly the best sleep either, even if you didn't go straight to work. So, I'm glad you got sleep, but I am sad that you didn't get the best sleep. I hope so. We're just now getting into the actual murder that is centered around this chapter. So, like, I hope I'm winning, but I am progressing. I'll know for sure if I'm winning when we get to, like, the first trial. Was she investigating the crime scene by herself? Due to the circumstances, I've decided to handle this case personally. Since we've got you here, could we ask you some questions about what happened? Can I assume you're planning to defend this case? That would make you my opponent. What do I have to gain from helping you? Right. However, I would be willing to answer your questions, but only if you answer some of mine as well. Oh. Okay. Did she want to ask us about Wallace's alibi? Miss McCoy, it's my understanding that you were adopted. Would you happen to know who your biological parents are? Celeste turned and shifted uncomfortably. That's kind of personal, isn't it? You agreed to answer my questions. I did, but I didn't think you meant... it's fine, Tyrion. It's for Wallace. She took a breath. This had always been a sore subject for her. I don't know who my birth parents are. I've never tried looking for them. I see. If I recall correctly, your spell compendium only contained one spell. How did you learn Mageblade in the first place? I bought a scroll from a merchant a few years ago. It had Mageblade's spell formula on it. But surely someone taught you how to cast it. No, I'm self-taught. Steelwind's eyes narrowed. She was being unusually interrogated about this. You can't teach yourself magic, Miss McCoy. That's not possible. Well, I did. Are you sure you're not mistaken? Hey, I've got a system, okay? I even learned a few new spells today. I'm sorry. Spells? As in plural? Yeah, I'd like to think I'm pretty good at this. How long did it take you to learn these spells? A few hours, I think. She taught herself multiple spell formulas within a few hours? Okay, so Tyrion isn't crazy. That is unheard of. Okay, I also don't trust Dark Doctors, Gray. But at the same time, I feel like you should listen to the people who know what they're talking about. What, Nemira? Are you a delivery person? I think I'm sleep deprived at this point because I did not understand that second half of your sentence. Okay, but Gray, you only when you get enough sleep consistently is when you stop feeling tired. If you get enough sleep just one day out of multiple days, then you don't... Is it a game? Okay. Like, I haven't gone to bed yet today, so I wasn't entirely sure what to make of that, so I was so confused. I see. I think that's all I need to ask for now. Thank you, Miss McCoy. Ooh, I have Star Citizen. Yeah, but I was about to say, I don't think it'd be Star Citizen. Because a Star Citizen is more about, more than just delivering boxes, I think. I haven't, like, played a lot of it, but I think so. Flying spaceship. Cloudpunk? Is it? Again, I haven't played a lot of it, so I'm pretty sure it's more of a text-based game, though, isn't it? Or am I thinking of something else? Oh, okay. I really need to play more of that game then. I got so confused. Okay. Steelman looked like she was deep in thought. Why was she so interested in Celeste's magic? The murder. Do you know what happened here, Steelman? Well, the City Watch received a call from the Academy. They reported an attack on campus grounds and put the entire building on lockdown. The City Watch set up a perimeter around the building while they waited for the system to deactivate. They had to wait? Why didn't the Academy just deactivate the system manually? I'm not sure about the specifics, but supposedly the lockdown can't be shut down once triggered. It's a safety mechanism. You'll have to ask one of the Academy's admins if you want to know more. From what I've heard, you two were also present during the lockdown. Did either of you see anything suspicious? No, but we actually met the professor that morning. She was obviously still alive then. I see. That does match with the accounts from our other witnesses. She must have gone to her meeting with the headmaster afterward. She had a meeting with the headmaster? How long did this go on for? From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., about an hour before her death. The headmaster met with Bellwether. He might have known where she went after the meeting. Would you happen to have a map of the Academy? I do. I'll transfer it to your runestone. Map of the Imperial Academy. It's based on the general area where Captain Bellwether was seen that day. Okay, so there are the lecture halls. We are in 2B. And there's storage next to that, and then 2A. Okay, so that's the second floor, because I'm also seeing 2J off to the other side. So we're on the second floor. Kitchen, Imperial Library, cafeteria, and headmaster's office. What is it? There's only one direct path from the headmaster's office to this lecture hall. Why would she even enter the lecture hall in the first place? Did she die here, or was she murdered somewhere else? Ugh, that snow is driving me crazy. What is that? There was a bit of an accident during an alchemy lecture a few days ago. The instructor misread the directions for an experiment. As a result, he accidentally produced this rancid-smelling vapor. Vapor? It's not toxic, is it? I wouldn't be standing here if it were. It's just extremely unpleasant to the senses. They temporarily closed this lecture hall until they could get rid of the smell. House Steel might actually use a similar concoction during the Great Luminite War. See? This is why I stick to transmutation magic. Miss McCoy, alchemy is a branch of transmutation. What? I could have been making potions this entire time? Celeste is me at this point. I absolutely would have been depressed if I had the ability to make potions and I wasn't doing it. Weeks ago, the headmaster performed I thought it was a teacher. Performed an alchemy experiment incorrectly in lecture hall 2B. The resulting chemical reaction produced a rancid yet harmless vapor that still lingers in the room. Wait, so why was she in here in the first place then? How was the body discovered? 2 members of the kitchen staff spotted her body inside this classroom. They reported the situation to the campus admin while they attempted to save her life. But it was too late. The professor had already passed away long before any healers arrived. Those two staff members, who were they? Valentina and Valerie Iannis. They're sisters. How are they holding up? I imagine they'd be rattled after discovering the body of their coworker. From what Oram said, they're extremely tense during questioning, but I suppose that's to be expected. He told me that they couldn't sit still. He found it difficult to take their statements because of that. They couldn't sit still? Well, he's always making excuses for his incompetence. Who discovered the body? The body was discovered in Lecture Hall 2B by Valentina and Valerie Innes, two members of the kitchen staff. According to Commander Orm White, they were being hyperactive during questioning. Okay, but why were they in all the way over in 2B? Is the food kept in storage? Because that wouldn't make sense, because they're like right by the lecture halls. We've already told the Inquisition this, but Wallace was with us the entire time. He has a perfect alibi. Strong, maybe, but his alibi is far from perfect. Miss McCoy herself told us that. There was a small period when she wasn't with him. What? Right. It was after we came to check on you when you knocked over that shelf. We got separated, and I kind of got lost in the fiction section. She found an early release copy of Deaths at Daggerfall. She binge read it for over an hour. They just rat me out to him. He's my boss. Nonsense. They're well-written books. No one would fault you for that. I mean, I might fault her for that. Wait, you read them too? Yes. But what do you think of the ending of The Uncrowned? Celeste? I found the cliffhanger to be needlessly unsatisfying. They're stringing the readers along to sell more copies of the sequel. Oh, come on. Anticipation just makes each new book that much more fulfilling. Celeste. I eat brunch with the author occasionally. The fame has clearly gotten to her head. She's clearly just dragging her feet to raise profits. You eat brunch with Altherius Duskweaver? I cleared my throat. Everyone. We are all supposed to be working right now. You're such a killjoy sometimes. No, he's right. I don't know what got into me. Well, after this kiss is over, I'm tagging along for brunch with you. What? Hey, you're trying to convict me for murdering my dad. You owe me, Steelwind. I suppose you have a point. She doesn't. Don't just go along with this. Oh, Tyrion, I almost forgot. Let me show you one of the new spells I learned.
Arcanum.
What was that? What was that? That is the incantation for the Detect Magic spell. Detect Magic? Wait, does that mean... Yep, I can see magical traces while re-examining crime scenes. Since when the... That's actually amazing. Is that transmutation? Because Steelwind was surprised when she cast that spell. Is that not transmutation? This must be where the students sit during lectures. Ugh, I can't imagine sitting in one place all day. Have you never attended a school before? Do you seriously think a dump like Cornhaven has standardized education? I learned from books that She got to Steelwind before finishing that thought. I learned from books that I appropriated from some traveling merchants. What about you? I attended a public school when I was younger, but Miss Tamora handled most of my education herself. Oh, they have books here too! These appear to be textbooks about alchemy. Ah, lame. Who's that? It's a painting of some sort of musician. There's some text written below it. Dr. Nicholas Gosu, inventor of the Arcane engine. His work revolutionized trade and travel across the seas. He was well known for not discriminating between the common folk and the nobility, judging his assistants based purely on their merit. Ooh, he sounds like a good guy. When he wasn't conducting research with the Imperial Academy, he was known to compose symphonies in his free time. It sounded like he was a man of many talents. He sounds cool. The lecture hall has a window. I think it has more than one window, Tyrion. I feel like I'd just stay outside all day if I had to sit in this place. How long do they have to sit here anyway? Lectures here last for an hour at minimum. An hour? No wonder all the nobles are psychopaths. Present company excluded, I hope. Yeah, you're not that bad, are ya? How have you learned so many spells if you're so distractible? I don't know. I just look at the spell formula and do it. I see. Is that not normal? I don't think it is, Celeste. There's a chalk outline where the professor's body was. It appears that most of the blood came from her abdomen. Is that where the fatal wound was? There's a lot of blood in this puddle, but there's no trail leading to it. And there aren't any magical traces anywhere else in the room. I doubt the murderer used magic to clean it. Does that mean that the murderer attacked her in this room? Maybe. But it's hard to say for certain. Oh, that is a cool picture for the blood. I actually kind of love it. Blood stain under the body. There is a pool of blood where Catherine Bellwether's body was. The location implies that she bled from her abdominal area. Is there anything else I can look at before I detect magic? No. LB. Ooh. What? What's wrong? There's a trace of necromancy in Bellwether's blood. Necromancy? Isn't necromancy that type of magic that creates zombies? She's not just going to get up and walk away, right? We're honestly not sure. The Inquisition is on edge about that as well. But how does that implicate Wallace? Oh, he didn't tell you? Wallace Nightgrave is a necromancer. What? We believe that he drained her life force using a spell called Necrotic Blight. Necrotic Blight. That is also a really cool symbol. I love these pictures. School Necromancy. Incantation. Blighto. Gesture. Point index finger at target. Duration. Instant. Concentration. No. Pulls all the life energy from the target, resulting in instant death. The spell does not wound the target, nor does it leave any physical evidence, but it still leaves a magical trace. Then why was she stabbed? Spells like that tend to interfere with the divination spell, but we used to identify the cause of death. However, there were no visible wounds. Only a necromancy spell could have killed her. Do you have a copy of the autopsy report? Of course, but it's incomplete because of the aforementioned reasons. Died at 2:01 p.m. Body shows no signs of cuts or bruising. The alchemist's report has verified that death was not caused by poison or disease. Body shows traces of necromancy and illusion magic. Because of death, cause of death is not apparent, but very likely caused by necromancy magic. Illusion. This whole deal has put everyone on edge. This is the first case of necrotic homicide we've had in nearly a century. I couldn't believe it. I'd only read about necromancy in fantasy novels. I never imagined that I'd end up defending a necromancer. But if what you're saying is true, weren't there plenty of other mages who could use necromancy? This is an academy for mages, after all. No. The knowledge required to learn necromancy is heavily controlled. Mr. Nightgrave already violated several laws simply by learning these spells. I'm baffled as to how he even got access to that knowledge in the first place. Right. Necromancy sounded like some dark magic, even by the nobility standards. I'd be terrified to know why anyone would want to learn that type of magic. The fact that he was the only known student who knew these spells makes him our only suspect. But it's still too convenient. Something else is— Wait, I thought I couldn't read her mind! I seldom caught thoughts from Steelwind, and they usually only appeared when someone brought up her father. She was usually very composed, and I still didn't see a hint of that unease in her posture. Normally, I could only see thoughts when the target was stressed or excited. Something about this case must have been rattling her. Is there something else you're not telling us, Steelwind? Awkward silence. but I couldn't catch any more thoughts from her. Okay. Let's go talk to... Oh my god, we have more places. I looked around the dungeon, but I didn't see walls in any of the cells. The Inquisition is probably still questioning him. We should come back later. Well, boo. Okay. I checked there. Let's check the kitchen. Hello? Is anyone there? It looks like there's no one here right now. 2. 0 for 2. Maybe we should check somewhere else. To the headmaster's office. I swear to God if I strike out again. I followed the map that Steelman gave us, arriving at the headmaster's office. Oh, hello there. I wasn't expecting guests today. An elderly man rose to greet us, his hand trembling as he walked towards us with the support of his cane. Oh, honey! Sit down! Sit down, it's fine. We can walk to you. His face was wrinkled, but his eyes were sharp. His expression held the wisdom of a life long lived. I recognized his voice. He was the one who made the announcements during the lockdown. Sorry for coming unannounced. You must be... My name is Theodore Redmond. I am the headmaster of Wyvern Guard Imperial Academy. I'm about to get a migraine from how often it's flashing. I can't believe I forgot that it did that. He's 88. You are so dignified for you're an old dignified gentleman. The elderly headmaster of the Wyvern Guard Imperial Academy. He appears to be close to Wallace and faculties and facilitated his studies in necromancy. And judging from your appearance, you must be the protege of Ruby Timora. Okay. How are you supporting his research into necromancy if you study illusion magic? I am confused. To what do I owe the pleasure? They must be here to investigate the murder. Wait, Eris? I thought you went to see Wallace. Unfortunately, the Inquisition is questioning him right now. They aren't allowing visitors. He must be so scared right now. I hope he's okay. Right. She had the same experience not too long ago. I can't believe this is happening. Why in the Lord's name did they arrest Wallace? This is terrible. To think that one of my prized students would be accused of murder. We heard your voice on the intercom when the lockdown happened. Are you the one who triggered it? Yes, I activated it when I received the call from Valentina. She reported that Professor Bellwether was collapsed and unresponsive. The headmaster's actions. The headmaster activated the academy lockdown system in response to receiving a call from security. This call reported that Catherine Bellwether had been fatally wounded. How does the lockdown system work? It's an artificery system network that's built into the walls of the entire academy. In the event of an emergency, I can activate it using this stone. The headmaster pulled out a glowing stone from his desk. I could hear the hum of magical energy emanating from it. Once activated, the system creates magical barriers throughout the building. It's designed to contain and protect each room in the building. Could a powerful mage breach any of these barriers? I doubt it. The barriers can withstand a great amount of force. They even block mages from teleporting through them. And once activated, even I can't turn it off for an hour. Academy Lockdown System. The Academy's lockdown is a system of artificery that covers the entire Academy building. Once activated, it creates magical barriers that isolate and protect each room in the building. These barriers can't be breached with physical or magical force. They also block mages from teleporting through them. What can you tell me about Wallace? Earlier, you said that he was one of your prized students. We also heard that he is a necromancer. Oh, That's a concern base. I just need to understand if that's really true. You are correct. Young Wallace is a necromancer. What? But why would he study something like that? Necromancy is probably one of the most dangerous and most scrutinized schools of magic. Its image has been tainted by myths of dark wizards raising armies of the undead. However, it doesn't just control the forces of death. It can also control the forces of life. Forces of life? The truth is that healing magic is also classified as necromancy. Most healers don't care to admit it because of the stigma it has, but that's why Wallace is studying it. He wishes to become a doctor. But there are plenty of mages who know healing magic. Why is Wallace being singled out? For years, he was studying necromancy beyond the basic healing spells. He believes that high-level necromancy can revolutionize modern medicine. Unfortunately, many among the faculty don't see it that way. Wallace doesn't hail from any of the noble houses. He was abandoned by his parents at an orphanage, presumably to avoid a scandal. He's like me. Many of the faculty fear that he'll use his knowledge to raise armies of undead, just like the necromancers of fiction. The Imperial Academy isn't even permitted to teach it to students beyond basic healing magic. Then why did you allow him to study it? After everything that has happened to him, I made an exception, even if I was breaking the law. What happened to him? I'm not at liberty to say more. Okay. That's an interesting twist on necromancy. I don't think I've ever seen it be played like that. Like, I've seen some works of fiction use where, like, necromancy can heal, but, like, with major consequences and prices. So the fact that they're using it as the same magic as healing magic, which is usually seen as holy, I'm intrigued. Why don't more people do that? Oh, now I'm upset. That's actually a really cool storyline. If you plan on defending Wallace, will you need his spell compendium? Yes, having a client's compendium is instrumental to acquitting them. You may find that a bit difficult. After a certain incident, he destroyed his compendium. What? Why would he do that? Doesn't he need it to cast his magic? A spell compendium is a device we use to keep track of what spells we can cast. It's really convenient for remembering the formulas and incantations of my spells, but it's not actually required to use magic. I thought of getting rid of mine a long time ago, but they're really expensive. Luckily, I have an unattuned spell compendium right here. I'd be more than happy to give it to you if it helps Wallace. Oh, thanks. Wallace just needs to maintain physical contact with it for 10 minutes. After that, the compendium will attune to his magic and update in real time. Just make sure you don't let another mage like Celeste hold it. Once it attunes to a mage, no one else can use it. Wait, then how did... Wonderful. I just hope you can persuade Wallace to attune to it. Okay, what the fuck? She is some sort of god demon thing. It reminds me of a premise from an anime I watch, Light and Dark Magic. Light is normally healing, yet dark isn't seen the same. Ooh, yeah, I think I know what you might be talking about. Is it fuck, I can't think of the name. Is it the one where she like actively plays into being a villainess, even though like everything she's doing is like helping the people behind like a barrier fog who once were criminals, but now they're just like children of the criminals, so they're not actually criminals. And like she sacrificed an eye to help the grandpa who basically like taught her things and took care of the people in the village. I feel like I'm being very confusing when I'm explaining that, but I can't remember the anime name, but I think I know the one that you're talking about. Unattuned spell compendium. An unattuned spell compendium. If a mage keeps this on their person for 10 minutes, it will attune to their magic and display what spells it can cast. Once it attunes to a person, it can't attune to anyone else. Oh, is there another one then? Which one are you talking about then? Because I've only seen that one. What can you tell me about Catherine Bellwether? Nothing kind, I can tell you that much. Wow, that was a whole mess of emotions. Truth be told, she was rather unpleasant to work with. Oh, I think I know that one. I just don't think I've watched it. Now I'm gonna have to look into it. I'm curious. Can you think of any enemies she might have had? I'm gonna guess everybody. You might as well list anyone who didn't hail from the Four Pillar families. Eris. It's best not to beat around the bush with these sorts of things. As I'm sure you saw this morning, Asphalt was probably less abrasive in her personality. Many people in the school did not care for her. Maybe she wasn't the nicest person, but would that be... But would that really be enough to motivate someone to murder her? She'd often target and harass students, especially those who were commoners. She even made a habit of expelling those students for the smallest infractions. For commoners, magic can be our ticket out of poverty. I can't imagine how it'd feel to have the opportunity unfairly ripped away from you. She was akin to a Grim Reaper, hanging over the student body, waiting to steal away their futures. The human psyche can only be pushed so far. What about her relationship with the faculty? In some cases, it was worse than it was with the students. She'd often treat the staff like her personal servants. I've received many complaints from them about her behavior, but I was powerless to stop her. But how? I thought you were the headmaster. She's a close friend of the Duke of Finance. She's used her position to curry favor with the noble houses over the years. As you can imagine, the Academy's board is controlled by the nobility. If I ever tried to remove her, there would be dire consequences. Bellwether's reputation. Catherine Bellwether had a tense relation with just about everyone in the Academy. She had a history of bullying students from the common folk and mistreating the Academy staff. For several years, she used her position to curry favor with the noble houses. That's awful. I heard that you had a meeting scheduled with Professor Bellwether this morning. What time was this? And when did the meeting end? Our meeting was scheduled for noon. She arrived on time, and our meeting lasted until 1 p.m. Did anything happen that seemed off about her to you? No, she seemed to be her usual self. Her usual insufferable self. If you don't mind me asking, what was the purpose of your meeting? We met to discuss routine administrative matters. Despite our personal disagreements, we knew to stay civil when discussing professional affairs. But to be perfectly honest, it did always feel like I was treading on eggshells when speaking with her. But you were her superior, weren't you? Didn't she respect your authority? Tyrion, he just said that she had the ability to have the nobility wrapped around her finger to make sure that she gets what she wants. Why? What part of that makes you think that she respected his authority? We had many arguments about how I was managing the Imperial Academy. She was very vocal about her distaste for the students accepted through my scholarship program. She was difficult, to say the least. Okay. It's a painting of someone. He looks like some sort of professor. That's Professor Lucas Gilbert. He was an instructor here many decades ago. He was quite the accomplished scholar, and well beloved by the students here. And this was all despite his lack of magical ability. He studied magic without actually being able to use it? Yes, he was quite remarkable. Unfortunately, we lost him to illness very early in his career. Oh, that's sad. I actually thought he was the headmaster, but The monocle is on the wrong eye. There's a fireplace with some burning wood. It looks pretty cozy. There's a window with a view of a garden. The headmaster has a very nice view from up here. It's a painting of a mage, but it doesn't quite look like a noble. Oh, that's Jason Steelwind, one of the chosen mages of the Scaled Lord. Oh wait, Steelwind? As in... Yes, he is the earliest recorded ancestor of House Steelwind. Legends say that the Scaled Lord bestowed his power upon him and his allies to create the first mages. Wow. It's hard to even tell that he and the prosecutor belong to the same bloodline. As with all the noble houses, House Steelwind has had quite humble beginnings. If only they'd remember where they came from. It's a small table for guests. Is that wine? No, actually. It's just apple juice. And most of my guests are students, after all. Oh, he seems like such a sweet old man. I love him. It's a fancy-looking chandelier.
Preparing Arcanum.
Okay. There is nothing there. I swear I'm going to murder. That's not where I wanted to go. Sorry, I didn't mean to come back here. I want to go to the kitchen. Be right. Oh, sorry, but the cafeteria is closed right now. Actually, we're here to investigate what happened to Catherine Bellwether. We heard that 2 members of the kitchen staff discovered the body. Her posture tense at the mention of Bellwether. Oh, that would be me. I'm Valentina. Valentina works for the kitchen staff of the Imperial Academy. She works alongside her sister, Valerie. She seems to be on edge due to Bellwether's murder. She was the head chef of the kitchen? She was close to my age. I knew how picky nobles were, and I'd imagine that their childhood would be worse. If her cooking fit their standards, that was impressive in and of itself. How about your sister? Do you know where she is right now? I'd like to get her statement too. Oh, she's somewhere else on campus right now. If you're with those knights, we've already told them everything we know. Actually, we're investigating separately from them. I wanted to ask you some questions about what you saw. Sure, I'm going to have to remember. There were so many details. What was that just now? What did you see? Could you tell us what happened when you and your sister discovered the body? Right. My sister and I were heading to the west exit. We saw the professor in a nearby classroom. She was lying on the floor in a pool of blood. It really scared me seeing her like that. I used an emergency communication device to call for help. While I was doing that, my sister tried to wake her up. That is what happened. Was the professor still alive? I don't know. But she wasn't breathing, and she didn't have a pulse. She was less tense, which might imply that she was telling the truth. It's possible the attack happened well before they discovered the body. What do you know about the suspect in this case? His name is Wallace Nightgrave. He's a student here. He's that scary necromancer, right? The one that makes zombies? Those are just rumors. He wants to be a doctor. But he studies necromancy! Have you ever actually gotten to know him? No, but I've heard the rumors. He's always hanging around the cemetery. I'm sure he's just biding his time, waiting for his chance to raise an army. It couldn't be helped that people thought of him that way. I still wasn't sure what to make of all this. Catherine. What can you tell me about Catherine Bellwether? Nothing good, if that's what you're looking for. Yet another set of negative emotions. Just tell us the truth. I don't think we've talked to anyone who had anything nice to say about her. Yeah, she was a horrible person. She was really terrible to everyone. Did that include the academy staff? She always treated us like her personal servants. Sometimes she'd make messes on purpose, just so she could order us to clean it up. I thought the kids from the noble houses were bad, but she was something else. She acted like she owned the place, but she wasn't even from a noble family. The only reason why she had any power was because of her friends on the school board. I just hope we can still keep our jobs. Interesting. Why would she be worried about that? Wait, she hated commoners, but she is one? Did you feel like your job was at risk because of Bellwether? Why would you say that? It was just a hunch. Yeah? Well, you're wrong. I, for one, plan to work here until the day I die. She was clearly lying, but it would be best to keep that to myself for now. Okay. Celeste, this room was close to the crime scene. Did you cast Detect Magic and scan for the magical traces? Sure. Did he just say scan for magical traces? I'll stay out of your way then. Before we could even acknowledge her, Valentina broke out into a sprint and fled from the kitchen. Wow, she can run pretty fast. What was that about?
Arcane.
She has magical traces on her. I fucking know it. Several commonly used ingredients were close to the cooking area. Oh, it's a plate of bread. They probably served these as sides to the entrees. Don't get any ideas, Tyrion. What? Remember when we went to that fancy restaurant? You just kept ordering breadsticks and butter. The bread was free. I might as well take advantage of it. You know, eating that many carbs isn't good for you. It's not as if I'm gaining any weight. Weird. I've never had that problem either. There's a large cooking station here. They must have repaired the meals in bulk here. There's a rack of cooking implements hanging from the wall. There's a set of pots cooking soups and the like. Okay, so like this is all typical kitchen stuff. There's a large sack of produce in the corner. There is some wine there too. It must be for cooking. Or the professors. Yeah. They must have served the students' meals on these plates. It's a shame that they had to close the kitchen due to the investigation. Is there anything else? There's a barrel full of some sort of drink. I wonder. It's probably not lotus juice, Celeste. Why did she think that it would be there if it was... I spotted Valentina again. She was speaking to someone in a blue-collar uniform. I only met her briefly in the kitchen, but there was something different about her posture. And then there was the man in the uniform. Could he be the custodian that she mentioned? As I approached, I noticed he was slouched over. He barely looked awake. Even when speaking to Valentina, he was sweeping the floor. However, his movements looked robotic. He was just going through the motions without any awareness. Jan, I know you're tired, but we really need you to fix the plumbing in the kitchen sinks. Ugh, someone just died. Can't we take the day off for once? I'm sorry, but Valentina and I still need to cook for the students. Wait, why was Valentina suddenly speaking in the third person? Oh, hello. Valentina? Oh, my apologies. I'm not Valentina. I'm her sister, Valerie. I forgot they looked identical. Whoops. Works for the kitchen staff in the Imperial Academy. She works alongside her sister Valentina. She's softer spoken when compared to her sister, but she also seems to be on edge due to Bellwether's murder. Are you trying to trick us or something? You look exactly the same. I remember reading about something like this before. You two are identical twins, aren't you? Yes, that's correct. Wait, this meant that she was the one who discovered the body alongside Valentina. Since we have you here, do you mind if we ask you some questions about what happened? I'm terribly sorry. But I've already spent a lot of time looking for Jan here. I'm really behind on my work. But Jan was also nearby when we discovered the body. I'm sure you can answer your questions. Before I had a chance to object, Valerie quickly walked away. Wait! Do you want me to go after her? I'm pretty sure I can catch up to her. No, we don't want to scare those two more than we already have. Anyways, Valerie said that Jan was nearby when the murder happened. Maybe he saw something they didn't. Jan Hughes, custodian. A custodian who works at the Imperial Academy. He looks exhausted. He looks like he's struggling to stay awake, whenever I talk to him. Jan, was it? Do you mind if we ask you some questions about what happened? Really? Well, whatever. At least I have an excuse to take a break now. Okay, before I start talking with him, I'm gonna call it a day. What do I say? That. One, because the constant bright lights for this is causing me to get a slight migraine. And also because I think about 2 hours is my limit for this game because of how much talking I have to do. Where's my mouse? There we go. The fuck was that? Oh well. Thank you all for joining me. It gets so tiring. I'm an introvert. I don't talk much. So when I am talking for long periods of time with no break, it gets tiring. And my throat is so dry. But I am kind of confused. I don't know if this is me forgetting some details because it's been a minute since I've gotten into this game because of scheduling outside of what I thought I could do. Or what. But from what I remember from the first chapter, Wyverngard was founded by 4 archmages, which then became the 4 ducal pillars. The 4 pillars. So I'm confused by how I'm gonna guess religious texts were saying that the kingdom was already founded, but the nobility came into play after the 4 ducal families got magic. Well, not even the 4 ducal families, just the nobility in general. So, like, I'm confused on which is actually which is actually how it plays out. I'm not sure what to believe. I'm hoping that we get something that will tie all of it together as we go on. How many chapters are there? 3, 4, 5. There are 5. So I'm hoping that I figure out. I hope there's something that ties it together, because if not, we're getting two very contradictory stories. And I know religion can kind of embellish some of the truths, especially with how Eris, whoever the fuck Eris is, said how the religious people like to embellish instead of keep to the facts. I'm kind of hoping that is what the case, because if not, I have too many questions that just apparently aren't getting answered. But we did learn a little bit about what the Eyes of Horus, or Eyes of Bahamut, as they are actually called. I talked about this a little earlier whenever we found that out. I am curious on what happened with Cuthbert's family, because again, only nobles and those with some sort of noble blood are able to use magic. And even if it's not like an arcane art that is like registered or like acknowledged as magic, as arcane arts at the moment, it is still magic if it was also given to them, to his family via the dragon Rathalion. But right now all we have is just religious texts that are more myth than actual like historical fact. So it is what it is. I'm hoping I wasn't this confused by a story in a hot minute. The only one that from only one that's like from recent is Graveyard Keeper, but that's mostly because there is hardly any story to keep you motivated. There is still a story though, and it is coherent throughout the pieces that you get. More clues later on. I'm hoping there is. But I also had an issue at the end of the first chapter of this game where it brought up a political storyline that we have no reason to be interested in. So I'm already questioning the story writers for what they're doing. So I have a little less hope, unfortunately. I'm hoping everything turns around because I do like the premise of our Ace Attorney, but with magic, because magic is my bread and butter. I love anything magical. I love anything fantastical. It's great. So I'm hoping it gets better. I wish all of the transitions weren't so bright, because even if I was able to talk longer than 2 hours non-stop, I probably would have had to stop anyway because of the bright like transitions that you can't really prepare for unless you're traveling between scenes. So I'm hoping. I am curious to what's going on with the magic that was involved with Bellwether, because right now I'm thinking the twins did it, but neither of them have magic from what we know. So like I am curious how necromancy got involved, because Wallace is the only one that is known to be using it. So I am curious for next week. I am absolutely curious for next week. So on that note, I am going to call it a day. I'm going to go rest my voice because it hurts a little bit. My throat hurts. It is dry as all hell. I will see you. Oh yeah, the sisters are absolutely acting weird. And I played a little bit of the second chapter, the last stream I did of this, and they got into a confrontation with Bellwether. So like I am leaning towards them, but them having they don't have magic though, from what we know. So I feel like they're accomplices, but not the ones who did it. But I don't want to say Wallace did it, for the simple fact of I don't think that hour time frame of when he was gone was the hour that he could have killed her. So I do have questions. I am hoping we get answers. Obviously, we'll get answers to how she died. I know the sisters were involved somehow. I just don't know how yet. I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully, for Persona 3 in the morning. And I will see you all then. Bye!